Welcome to another podcast. Can you remember what the podcast was called?
How can I trust him again?
No. What our podcast is called?
Oh, sorry, spoiler alert. The Rebuild and Repair podcast.
No.
No?
No. After the Wreckage.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my life.
This person has changed their name handle 57 times.
Right, my wife is tired. Okay, she's tired. So we're going to do this with a tired wife. So if you know when your wife is
Do you want to
tired,
get any closer?
let's see. So if you know when your wife is tired, the best thing to do is keep shum. However, we've got to do a podcast.
I was going to say it's going to be hard to do a podcast without talking.
Well, you can have the whole podcast to yourself if you want.
How can you trust him that there'll be a very quick, quick conversation with myself?
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Right, so we're going to do a podcast after the Wreckage, and today it's on.
How can I trust him again?
I'm Nathan Ross, and this is Melissa Ross. And for those of you that know us, thank you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing, and most of all, thank you for supporting us on our journey as we help you guys rebuild, repair, and heal through the process after infidelity. It's a taboo topic that no one wants to talk about, but we're here to talk about it, and we're here to.
We talk about it every day.
We talk about it every day.
We
We help people every day. We get abuse from people every day.
Say abuse.
Okay, not abuse, but people share their harsh opinions in the DMs, comments, and you get a lot of "how could you ever take him back?" and a lot of judgment. And right now you're right now you're questioning that as you're tired.
Let me go to bed.
So
it's dragged me here against my will. I'm joking.
You will sit there, you will do this podcast, and you will listen.
Basically, I doesn't talk.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Any man
Is
that's
this a
married.
podcast or just a little?
I want to get this out. Any man that's married will know they do not do as they're told. Okay, the wife.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a different.
Wife, happy life.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about what?
How can I trust him again?
How can I trust him again?
It's hard to trust me.
Game show. How can I trust him again?
Okay. So yeah, press.
Okay. So how do you trust? How does a wife or a partner learn to trust the man after infidelity?
Well, I think the foundation of that is the fact that the man and the woman, both parties, are both willing to cut the BS, put egos aside, and start from scratch, taking full accountability of behavior, hurt, all the things that have gone wrong in the relationship, and saying, strip it all back and saying, let's rebuild.
Is this like an overview before we go deep?
Well, I'd say that you need to start from that, because who was it that said you can't clap with one hand? Somebody said it.
Was it one of our clients?
I think so, and it's really stuck with me. You can't clap with one hand.
True.
What I mean by that is, if you're not clear on the analogy, you can't have a relationship that functions where just one person's making effort.
And this is a ongoing problem.
I don't know why I just, was enunciating with my hand.
And this is why when partners, women DM me, they're like, my husband's not willing to go to therapy, my husband's not willing to do the work. And you can't make him, okay? You can't make him. But there is great power when a man does the rebuilding and repairing, because one of the phases and one of the parts of, if you can, to build trust and work and move forward to build trust, one of the key phases is what we call the SOS, isn't it?
Sorry. What does SOS stand for, Nathan?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked there, Melissa. So I'm glad you've asked. So SOS stands for sorry, ownership, starting to dig. You're sorry, okay? You're not just saying the words, but you're acting, and you're doing the actions that show you are sorry. You're going for therapy.
There's no buts.
No.
When you're sorry.
Okay.
There's no I'm sorry, but.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I just thought of Seymour Butts when you said it. Don't you see more Butts is?
No.
Oh, okay.
So old.
Anyway, yeah, there is no. Is this going to be a comedy show tonight or something because you're tired? You know what? We're very raw, so we're going to keep it honest. We're not going to edit anything out. There is no buts.
There's no buts when you're sorry.
There is no buts when you're sorry. I've done a reel about that, Yeah, there is no buts. There's no I'm sorry, but I'm this and that. So true. When someone's truly sorry, they're going to show you through actions. That's number one. Number two, ownership. They take responsibility. They own what they've done. They allow the partner to express their emotions in a safe environment and not cut you off. They own that they've hurt you, they've caused you pain and trauma.
They don't
However, they don't invalidate, they don't manipulate through their own emotions, and they do the work. That's number two. And then number three, I like this one. They start to dig.
Start to dig.
And what I mean by that is they do the emotional work that needs to break the pattern, break the cycle that men have created over the years due to childhood trauma, due to events, due to looking at what actually love means to them, looking at transactional love and unconditional love. They start to dig and get to understand where the disconnection happened before they went astray.
But it is a step-by-step process.
Step-by-step process.
You can't skip the phases.
You can't.
So you can't get to the ownership without the sorry. You can't get to the start digging without the ownership.
Yep.
So it starts, as I started this conversation, with a man being truly apologetic and sorry, or a woman, for their behaviour, for their actions, taking full accountability, saying, I've messed up. It was nothing you did. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You can't just skip the steps and think that you're going to heal.
And there's many factors, or there's many prime factors that are going to stop you from rebuilding or understanding how to trust them again. Number one, the ongoing lies. The onslaught of ongoing lies. Them lies.
The lack of transparency.
The lack of transparency, the lack of honesty, the lies. That's going to be really hard for you to see where the truth is.
Well, there's no foundation of trust at all being built when there's still what men like to call them white lies.
Men, well, we like to call them anything. They're just lies.
A little white lie. Oh, what she doesn't know won't hurt.
Yeah. Or half a truth. So, because again, men's ego. I don't want to get hurt and make you feel uncomfortable. So I'm just going to tell you half the truth. I never slept with her. I just went back to the apartment to sleep.
I think from a legal stance, it's omitting the truth.
Oh, is it?
So omitting the truth is still a lie.
That's judgmental.
Well, you know.
Oh, okay.
Basically withholding truthful information, saying, well, I didn't directly lie, but I've just withheld the truth.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, half truth.
You can tart it up as much as you like.
The men are good at tarting things up. So the continued bombardment of lies. Okay. Also,
what's number two?
Oh, I'm glad you asked there, Melissa Ross.
Thank you. Just keeping you on track here.
Are you? Okay, thank you. So number one's lies. Number two, saying sorry and trying to work on being this man they need to be, vulnerable, but actually being emotionally manipulating to the wife.
And remember what we said, there's no buts with sorry.
There's no buts with sorry. And I'll give you a prime example. Okay. We start talking about what happened. We start talking and discussing about how I hurt you. And then you start going, I know I've hurt you. I know I've hurt you. Just leave. You'll be better off with someone else.
Please don't do that voice again.
No, I won't. I won't. However, we know men can be like that.
Yeah, so they switch it around. They play victim.
Yeah, and they become emotional manipulators. So they're saying sorry, but they're actually owning what they've done because they're emotionally manipulating their partner. So then the partner doesn't become the victim. You actually become what? The support beacon. Because you're supporting me through my emotional turmoil because I'm a victim because of guilt and shame.
Who would want me?
I'm
such a terrible person.
You're better off without me. Move on. Find something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
And all the things that men say to manipulate.
It's not attractive.
It's not attractive, number one, but it happens, number two. Yeah. And most of all, it's not actually a great way to build trust.
No, of course it's
because
not.
A woman is tired of leading.
It's complete deflection, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and when a woman becomes tired of leading, and do you just want to keep looking at what you look like in the video camera?
I'm not looking at anything.
But yeah, when a woman wants to stop being a leader and start being vulnerable, they can't when a man is being emotionally manipulating, can they?
No, not at all.
No. What do you think?
Nathan.
What do you think number three is?
Oh, you've got me there. So lies.
Got lies, emotional manipulation.
I don't know. It could go anywhere. Gaslighting.
Again, love bombing. Yeah, all the things. I tell you what, the number three is.
You are really excited about the fact that you've learned the phrase "love bombing," aren't you? Because this was a new phrase to you. But trust me, during our time of separation.
Yeah.
I use that term a lot.
I kid you. My ego never allowed me to hear it.
He keeps love bombing me.
Yeah.
He keeps love bombing me.
My ego never allowed me to see it.
Your ears are wide open.
They're wide open now. Well, yeah,
Should we
sorry.
explain what love bombing is in case people haven't come across
Go on then.
it?
Yeah, go on.
So love bombing is the period of time, again, it's all through manipulation, where the man is trying to get you back on side for whatever reason. So he's going to tell you a bunch of things that he knows you want to hear that are completely disingenuous. There's going to be no follow through whatsoever. It's just a short-term fix to get you back on side.
Give a prime example.
I'll use an example from our life, shall I? So when you're in your situation, every day you would message, you would tell me how wonderful I was, and you just never know, Mal. You just never know.
Yep. That was a good one, that one. You just never know.
You just never know. So it was basically, I've moved on, I'm doing what I want to do, but you don't do the same thing because you never know what could happen.
You never know what the future holds.
Yeah, you know how amazing you are, Mal, and you know that, it's always been you, it's always been us, and you're still my wife.
Yep.
Even though we'd separated and you left the home. So but that was, and again.
But let's talk about even before that. Let's talk about before that. Like, even when we hadn't, even before I hadn't left the home, there were things where I'd get caught, like many times, and then I'd not get caught with actual sexual incidences or anything like that, but you'd find something or you'll see something. And
I'd find the breadcrumbs of the deceit trail. And I'd call you out on it. And then instantly it was love bomb because it was panic from your side. And this will be typical behaviour for any man that gets caught out. He'll instantly feel perhaps defensive, might shut off for the short term, but then it will be a case of love bombing because I'm going to get myself out of this situation of guilt that I've got myself in. I want my wife or my partner to be back on side, so I'm going to tell her everything she wants to hear for the short term, just to keep her quiet, just to get her off my back.
Cool.
So that's love bombing.
That's love bombing. Okay, so we're going to talk about number 3.
Okay.
Number 3. So the man's doing all the work. Okay, he's sorry, taking ownership. Okay, he's starting to dig. Okay, and the woman is still not trusting him. Okay.
Why is that?
Because you know what he's doing?
What's he doing?
Not allowing the woman to become emotional. Okay.
Do explain more.
Roger, I will. They're gonna think, you know what they're gonna think? Our viewers are gonna think watching this. What? That we're just some people having a joke about infidelity.
No, we've lived it. It's not a joke, and it's absolutely, it's all in.
And to be fair, I'm glad we're making it quite fun, because at the end of the day, it can be a taboo topic that people don't want to talk about, or when you're part of it and you're going through it, you just see it.
I think we've earned the right to laugh about it because we've lived it.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens is, number 3 is basically you want to come and talk about what's happened to you. Okay, you want to come and feel safe. You want to hear some explanations of times, dates, and all them sort of things.
You might be having a trigger.
You might be having a trigger 2-3 months on. We still have triggers now, but let's say a year on, you have a trigger.
Yeah.
And the man says, "But we've got over it now."
Okay, so you're not allowing me to talk about it. So the man gives you a grace period of X amount of days, months, weeks, years that he thinks is a suitable amount of time for you to get over it.
Yeah.
And then if you go past that expiration,
whoa,
why are we still talking?
I thought we moved on.
Yeah. Don't go back there.
Yeah, we're better than this.
You're gonna take us back there. Yeah. Don't make things go bad again.
I don't want to talk about it, and then basically shuts you up. Yeah. So then what that does, it builds a wall up again. Okay. So let's talk about how then a man can build trust, and how can a woman trust a man again?
Okay, I'm going to be really straight.
Yeah.
First thing, phone.
Yeah.
Needs to be.
Let's talk. Actually, I've got a great way to think. Let's talk about what we do with our clients. We have the short, medium, and long term, don't we? So we have a short phase, we have a medium phase, and we have a long term phase. And these phases are what men can do during the process. So the short phase is,
well, it's about how can he be trusted again? How can I trust him? So in the short phase, and again, a lot of this is going to be the person who's committed the infidelity needing to make these changes. It's not going to be the person who's on the other side of it, because let's be honest, there's not much that they need to change.
No.
Other than the forgiveness part and not blaming constantly, or shaming or whatever. But let's be real, the first thing is the phone.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, your phone is going to be the biggest trigger for your partner if you have had infidelity in your relationship. And if for whatever reason you are still being secretive with your phone under the guise of privacy, which you've now forgotten because you've cheated,
it's the consequences of your actions,
then you're still hiding something.
So the short term is,
come at me if you think I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong, and tonight I'm definitely not coming at you tonight. However,
but the phone has got to be the first short-term implementation of building trust. Your partner has got to have access to your phone freely. She shouldn't have to ask. The passcode should be open. She should be aware of them. There shouldn't be any facial recognition or anything like that. Your phone needs to be an open device.
That's number one for the short term. Number two for the medium term, and I think this is a good one: transparency, not honesty.
Explain.
Okay, so, and a lot of people don't understand the difference, do they?
You didn't.
No, until we went through this. So transparency is, well, honesty is your wife is having to come to you, ask you questions, and you're being honest with your wife. Transparency is she doesn't even need to come and ask you. You are telling her where you're going, what you're doing. You're sending pictures. You're doing things that is making your wife feel that you're being open and honest and transparent with her.
You're anticipating what she might be
triggered about, doubtful about, or concerned about, or there might be things or places that you're going that reminds her of certain feelings that are going to trigger her.
And you're jumping in first, reassuring her before she has a chance to even ask you the question.
That, to me, is probably one of the biggest ways a woman will start to trust their partner again.
Do you think it was one of the most effective ways that you were able to start building trust again with me?
Yeah. I think there was many things, but I think apart the phone was the biggest. The phone was the biggest, number one. Number two, I think it was the transparency and honesty with you, which is the medium term. Because, and I even say that moves from medium to long term, because we still do it now, don't we? I'll send you pictures and stuff like that. Because in a way, I just don't want anything to come between or making you feel uncomfortable about situations. And so,
or even in situations where perhaps something's happened, you just come into me and being really open and honest about it. For example, if you've gone to the gym one day and it's super busy, and perhaps you were approached by a woman in whatever capacity, might have been completely innocent, but to other people who may have seen that, who could then potentially report back to you, that situation can be completely misconstrued. So if you're innocent in the situation, just be open about it. Just come to your partner and just say, look, this happened, this woman came and spoke to me, or this man ask me a question, and then it's not about saying that everybody outside of the relationship is an enemy.
No.
However, you've got to protect that bubble of your marriage and your relationship.
I had a client yesterday, and she said one thing, and it really resonated with me. She said, I don't trust anyone because of what's happened. She goes, in my immediate circle, and I think she mentioned 2 people, but after that, friendships and all that, she doesn't trust anyone.
And if the cheating's happened with a friend as well, it's a complete double whammy.
So that's medium. Okay. And then how do you trust, or how do you build trust for your wife long term? Being consistent, sticking to your word, your integrity. And this shouldn't be hard if you have changed and become the man you need to be. So when we talk about SOS, when we talk about being sorry, ownership, and starting to dig, we talk about values of the new person you're going to become. Now, in the long run, that is the man you are going to become. And you're going to be consistent. You're going to be consistent with your word, consistent with your actions, consistent with your values, your standards, and your self-beliefs. And so it's really important that you understand that consistency is the word. There's a big cliche. Consistency is key. But it is in this. It is it. But it is in this situation. You, at one moment, allowing your wife to express her feelings, and the next moment you shutting her off, isn't consistent. You allowing yourself to be vulnerable with your phone, and then the next thing you're not, that's not consistent. You've got to see it as this: you are under the microscope now. And this is for men that are saying, I love you, I want to build trust with you, I want to repair. You are under the microscope now. Every little thing you do, every little thing you say, every little action that you do on your phone.
A key umbrella that embodies all of that is you've lost the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. And that's
your wife or your partner no longer just accepts your word for things because you've been proven to be a liar. So how do you rebuild that? You start to become a trustworthy
Yeah,
person
and
again.
the only way you can do that is with your phone, short term. Okay, we spoke about that. Being transparent, long term. Instead of her having to come and ask you, you tell her. And in the long term, consistency. Saying what you're going to do, turning up all the time. Them three phases are going to help your wife start to feel secure. And when your wife starts to feel secure, she will start to let her wall come down. She will start to be vulnerable with you. And this is the
Physical
journey.
intimacy can resume.
Physically, intimacy can resume. But most of all, when she becomes emotionally connected again with you, trust can start to build. Until you've broken that wall down, you're just hitting a brick wall.
What would you say to somebody who has wanted to work on the relationship and the man started this process, but he keeps stopping and starting? Because I'm sure for some women it's, how do I trust him again when he keeps letting me down?
I was saying, if he wanted to, he would. It's that simple.
I think there's only so many times that a man can show you his actions without words. And I think we can talk a lot of good talk, but how many times are you going to ignore his actions as actually a reflection of what he really thinks?
And I think it's probably even worse if a man started to do the work. He's gone down a route of, I want to rebuild, and then suddenly, nah.
Well, I think now, especially again talking from experience, we've established those very clear boundaries now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you are very transparent. You leave your phone out. I can check your phone whenever I want. You don't even flinch. If there was ever a period of time that you did do that again, or that you did start to become secretive, I would know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
And then I would know how to proceed with that. So we've both got very, very clear established boundaries now.
And also, from a man's point of view, you've got to know those boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got to know those boundaries.
You've got to have that conversation and talk about what feels safe for both of you.
And so,
can I just, sorry to interject, it's not nice. Okay, I get it from the man's point of view, or the woman's, depending on who the person is who's cheated. It's not nice to feel like you've got no privacy whatsoever. It's not nice. I get it. However, remember, because there's no buts in sorry. However, it's just a fancy but. However, you've lost that right. You've lost it. If you want to rebuild, you don't get to have the benefit of having a partner who's willing to forgive you and not even give them the decency and the commitment of just saying, do you know what, I've got nothing to hide, here's my phone. And I don't really like the fact that you're reading some of my conversations with my friends or with my parents or my colleagues or whatever. But ultimately, as long as you're not messing around with the opposite sex or the same sex with some people, you've got nothing to hide, then just show it, because that's going to be the only way you're going to establish a foundation.
I'm going to play red herring here. If you know what red herring is, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Okay.
Well, if you don't know what devil's advocate is,
I'm going to play a trick question. Okay. Anything else? Any more phases? You really are tired.
So are you.
I know. A man might say, I've got guilt.
Yeah.
I've got shame. And I'm finding it really hard to talk about it. I'm finding it really hard to move forward and understand. Or
is this him saying it to his partner?
It's him saying it to his partner. Okay, because I get a lot of DMs, and a lot of DMs are, and a lot of men say, like, I really find it, to be fair, when the men say, I find it really hard to move on it or talk about it, I'm like, get on a call because I need to say it straight. However, a man will use that as an excuse. And this is what will come back to when I spoke about emotional manipulation. You're making me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to talk about it. I know what I've done, and it hurts me inside, and all these sort of things. And men can switch on tears as well, and all that. And that's part of that. That can be part of the embarrassment and the process and the pain they know they've caused you. And I remember I cried at one point because I realized how much I actually cried at how far low I'd gone. Remember?
You did go low.
I went low.
Low.
Flow rider low?
Yeah.
Okay.
The apple bottom jean low.
Okay. So you're on point tonight, aren't you? Even though you're tired.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. But yeah, I remember at one point where I cried because of how low I'd gone. But there is a line. And if every time your wife brings you up and you're crying, if every time your wife says something and you're crying because of the way pain you made her feel, I said to a client the other day, you're going to have to go and do work with, you need to go and see a therapist who was already in a therapist. I said, you need to go back and take your emotional vulnerability to your therapist because your wife needs a leader.
Mm.
And so if you're feeling the need to be very emotional in front of your wife, and I mean to a point where it's actually not helping, it's hindering, then you're going to have to start doing a lot more work with your therapist and saving your emotional trauma for your therapist while you become the leader you need to be for your wife.
And I'd say that worked definitely for us because you went and did work separately by yourself, didn't you, for a while before we even thought about doing it together. So that's always a good option. And it's amazing how many men just don't talk or have anyone to talk to.
Definitely, yeah. And we ask the question though when I do the work with the men, who have you got around you that can hold you accountable? We always ask the men, who have you got men?
More often than not, the answer is no one.
No one. No one. Who have you got that's yes people? Lots of them. But who have you got with someone that could have called you out when if you had said this to them, they would have gone, you know what, you're acting like a dickhead.
And also let's not forget that when men are in these situations, they don't tend to talk about or brag about what they're doing because they know that the people that will call them out and hence why they don't talk about it. If you'd have spoken to your family about what you were doing, you would have got a lot of telling off.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you choose not
and sometimes that's why it's a good reason for you to tell your family.
You choose not to tell them because you don't want to hear the honest raw truth.
So there you have it. They are the conversations about how to rebuild trust.
How can I trust him again?
How can I trust him again? Because
it's a lot of work from his part. He's got to be willing to do the work. And and I'll be really honest with you. If over a period of time you're seeing that he's not changing and he's not willing to
do the work
in, and actually
he's still fighting.
I think you'd have got to ask the question, how long can I do this to myself for? And obviously we're in the market for rebuilding and repairing. However, that doesn't mean that you give people an innate amount of chances.
And then you start looking at boundaries then, don't you?
Yeah.
And start looking at what boundaries you need to set in place.
And that's not for us to put boundaries in place for you. No. You will know when enough is enough.
And the question comes out then is, what does your future self look like? So there's lots of things you can do.
You can trust again. But you've both got to be willing to put the work in. But he's got to be the driving force in that. He
needs to be the one to rebuild your trust. Okay, and that's key in all this. He needs to be the one that rebuilds your trust. I think a lot of partners feel like they're the ones that actually build their trust up, but it's actually the man who caused the infidelity that actually takes the lead in helping
so you. I could say I'm just a really forgiving person. Like I've just managed to do this on my own, but actually that's not true. No. Because as much as I am a forgiving person, and I believe my faith has a big part to do in that, and I feel I'm not a person that holds grudges, etc. I wouldn't have been able to do this journey if you didn't fulfill your part in it.
Exactly, and so that's why you say you can't clap with one hand, and that's why we say, men, if you're watching this and you have caused infidelity and your wife is reaching out for you to make the changes, because if you would, you could.
If you wanted to, you would.
If you wanted to, I was going to say if you could, you would. But if you wanted to, you should. And you should. It's just rhyming. It's all interconnected. But guys, there you have it. There's our After the Wreckage podcast. I know we've had a bit of fun. We've had a bit of loud banter. We like to wind each other up as we do.
It's late at night.
It's late at night in the UK. It's 10:30 here in the UK. But most of all, we just want to get across to you that we're just real people. Okay, we've been where you are,
and we have been able to re-establish a really healthy relationship after all the chaos and the turmoil.
And we really believe that as a couple, we believe that you can rebuild and repair a broken, wreckage marriage. It just takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of time. And the man who's caused the infidelity is the man that has to rebuild it. I'm Nathan Ross.
I'm Melissa Ross.
And we hope to see you on our next After the Wreckage podcast. Please like, subscribe, please share. Most of all, guys, if you need help, please click the link in the descriptions. They're going to send you to our store where you can book a call with us. You can join our SOS 7-day boot camp.
We've got content out every day on your Instagram.
On my Instagram.
Watching
Nathan, the Rebuild and Repair Therapist. But most of all, guys, just DM us. Okay, reach out.
Every Friday we do questions, and on a Saturday we answer
them. Q&A.
stories.
Once a month we do a Q&A Zoom call live, which is confidential, and it's unless you're involved, you can't join. So we just really want to help you as much as possible. But guys, what I really would love you to do is like and comment and share, so we can get the Instagram out to as many people in helping them repair and rebuild their relationship. Until next time, see you soon.
Bye bye.